overall, yeah, look at this. No damage whatsoever. Yeah, we just auto with 3 preservation unit and Natasha. It's just that easy. I'm also trying this on my F2P account. My goodness, even with 3 characters, Nihility Path, you don't even need a Nihility character. It's just that broken. Yeah, I'm shook. Hey guys, welcome to my guide on the easiest strat and path in Swarm Disaster, the Path of Nihility. This path is similar to the Remembrance, where the Blessings and Path Resonance will do most of the damage, but unlike Remembrance, it has less RNG involved. As you saw in my intro, clearing difficulty 5, this Nihility strategy is extremely easy to follow and anyone can do it on any account build. However, running the Nihility path alone is not enough. There are very specific steps that you need to follow in order to not waste a bunch of time. So I've written an in-depth step-by-step guide for you guys. There are important steps and points to make sure that this strategy will work, and yeah, make sure to check it out. Before we start, I would like to mention 2 important tricks that some of you might already know. The first is by closing our client if the team is about to wipe, or if you have a really bad RNG, you can reset your fight by exiting the client. This works on mobile and PC, and then when you enter the game again, you'll be in front of the enemy that you were about to fight. So basically, we're just save scumming. So that's a really good technique for not having to restart the whole thing over again, and you just want to do certain things like manipulate RNG for freezes, or if you accidentally lost a character and you want to try again, that's also good as well. The second is the commuting trail. I would highly recommend traversing this for the rewards before climbing to higher stages, as getting the rewards will also unlock universal buffs that will make this game mode a lot easier. It's more efficient this way as well because you're getting the rewards and you're getting stronger. So first we'll need to pick our team. Initially we'll start by bringing a DPS team for the first 2 phases, then swap them out with the desired final team after. Also, you don't need to run double sustain. You can run typically just 1 sustain. However, I like running double sustain because early stages I like to just auto and not have to manually play. So double sustain will just fit me perfectly fine. As we enter the red stops or adventure nodes, we can pick up other team members. Particularly, I will talk more about them in the later stages. But TLDR, what we will really want is a weakness break unit that the boss is weak to, and then everyone else being sustained. Now let's grab the Nihility path and talk about what domain nodes to prioritize. The Nihility path is a very flexible path. Similar to Remembrance, the path, Blessings, and Resonance will be doing most of the damage. Not our characters, but the Blessing. There are a lot of other paths that synergizes really well with the Nihility path. For example, the first is to run Nihility in combination with tank Blessings. From Preservation and Destruction path, any blessing that reduces the damage and gives us shields. This will allow our team to basically be immortal. As seen here, I ran 3 preservation character along with a healer. The path was doing all the damage while I just pressed autoplay and went to brush my teeth. It's pretty simple. It's pretty OP. However, the second is to run Nihility in combination with a more damage-like path like Remembrance, which will allow you to perma-freeze, and every time the enemy unfreezes, they take even more dot damage to avoid the enrage timer that could potentially happen. Both ways are good. However, you can run a mixture of both, and I will provide an example of this at the end of the video on my F2P account using only free characters for difficulty 5. The mechanics of Nihility are very simple. I will go over the TLDR for it. Basically, the dice effect will turn the domain nodes into blank nodes, i.e. this dice effect that turns all elite domains into the blank domains and give you a free blessing. When you enter these blank nodes, you'll get a node of a random content, i.e. it could be like something like occurrence, elite, combat, rewards, etc. Every time we enter a blank domain, we get a permanent increase in our DOT damage. The strategy is simple. We will want to prioritize traversing the blank nodes and adventure nodes. So for the first phase, there is a specific strategy that we want to kind of implement. This is an important strategy for the first phase in order to manipulate RNG and save a lot of time. What we want to do is farm the first phase as much as possible, go through the paths that are considered blanks for the % dot increase. The reason is to make your path as strong as possible before the second phase in order to make it a lot easier to deal with, since we will get elite encounters for the blank nodes and you don't want those guys to ruin your run. And also the final boss on the second phase is one of the harder bosses due to the fact that you might not be prepared for it. It might be the one that ruins your run. So you can go up to disruption level 9 or 10, so don't worry about losing time. As long as you get to the final boss before disruption 10, you will be good to go, and you want to be around that level in order to grab all the blessings that you need. Furthermore, if we get really bad RNG with blessings or Curio on the first phase, I would recommend to reset and go again. This way we can manipulate RNG and save a ton of time. Imagine getting really bad RNG on the first phase and then going on to the second phase, reaching the end only to face Kokolia and Svarog and then dying to them just right before you face the final boss. And then you're just waste 30 minutes of your life and now you're like, man, I gotta do it again. So yeah, in order to avoid that, we want to be farming the first phase as much as we can. That's all there is to it. Take the longest path in my opinion and try to get as many blank nodes as you can. And also for the first boss phase, you'll want to fight the boss that will apply the weakness you'll want on the final boss. For example, if you want to run Kafka, you want to fight the boss that will give you lightning weakness for the last boss. Or if you want to use Herda for an ice team, you want to fight the boss that will give you ice weakness. So now let's talk a little bit about defensive blessings, because they are going to be what you want to prioritize and they will be more important than the actual Nihility blessings for the most part. You will want to prioritize the first 5 blessings here over any other blessings, even Nihility ones. These are crucial in ensuring that you will survive. The first blessing is a defensive Nihility blessing that you will get and must upgrade, since it will heal all your allies every time the enemy takes dot damage. This is basically ensuring that you'll be at 100% health most of the time, and every time the enemy takes a turn, which there will be a bunch at the end where they summon the bug, you will be able to heal a little bit. So this blessing is basically one of the ones that are kind of mandatory. However, it is level 1, so it is a lot easier and a lot more common to get than any other blessing. The second best blessing, you don't really need it at all, but it's one that will basically guarantee you the win if you get it. It will reduce the enemy's attack by 30% and reduce the enemy's effect resistance by the same amount when upgraded. So if you're able to reduce the attack by 30%, that's a huge amount of damage taken away. And also, if you reduce their effect resistance, you're able to apply all the Nihility debuffs on them when using your path ability. That way, you'll be able to just continue applying and doing damage consistently. So these two are extremely good. The other blessings that are really solid and I highly recommend is the destruction one, where you split the damage amongst your allies, and if you upgrade it, you receive 15% less damage. And then also clear Lucite body. This one, when the character's HP is full, reduce the damage taken by 36%. In combination with the first Nihility blessing that we talked about, the one that heals you, these two will basically allow you to really never die that often. If you're able to get 2 or 3 of the other defensive blessings here, you are good to go. It's a lot better if you can get as much as you can. As for the Nihility blessings, these are the rankings that I would put them at. The first 2, of course, are the ones that we mentioned earlier. So for the 3 gold blessings, 2 of them are very similar in effect. Basically, you get these stacks of suspicion for every time a dot is applied for one of them, and then you get a stack of suspicion for every time a dot is triggered for one of them, right? And basically, you can go up to like 99 stack of suspicion. What it does is just enhances your dot damage by X% up to 99 stack. But for the enhancement, you only need to enhance one or the other. As you will see when you're fighting bosses, you don't really need to like have both of them. It's kind of unnecessary, but at the same time, you can if you want to. And then the third gold blessing is the one that gives you a little bit more damage. And then from there on, just grab any other Nihility blessing. All we really are looking for is basically those ones, and then the resonance. So let's talk a little bit about the resonance and which one to prioritize. So we have 3 resonance. So for the resonance priority, after you get your blessings, you want to choose the one that gives you path resonance energy, because like I mentioned, the damage is going to come from the path resonance. When we click that path resonance ability, it's going to swirl, you know, and then apply all the debuffs onto the enemy, and when it's their turn, they take a ton of damage. So we want that, and we want to be able to refresh that as much as we can. The second one you can get is the base chance of applying the statuses by 100% is increased. However, if you're doing a lot of break, the third one is really good. It applies a stack of confusion and devoid. Basically, when you break the enemy, you will deal more damage, and then they will regenerate their toughness a lot slower. But essentially, at the end, you'll be getting all 3 of them. And for other blessings that are good for damage, here are kind of like a list of other blessings. This one in particular, after you break an enemy's weakness, you apply 100% chance to dissociate. So basically, when you break the enemy, they freeze, and then you apply a stack of dissociation. When you enhance the effect or when you upgrade the blessing, this is guaranteed 100% of the time. This is so broken. So once you do that, you're able to just basically deal 30% of the enemy's HP after you weakness break them, which basically gives you unreal amount of damage. What you really want to get is the 3 propagation blessing in order to grab the interplay resonance. So basically, this resonance interplay will act as a mini Kafka. So every time your character attacks when using their basic attack, you will apply and trigger all of the dots that is on the enemy. For Curios, there are very good ones that we want to prioritize. Grab the Curios that will give us blessings and fragments. Here is a tier list of what to grab in order of importance. And so we see this one right here. here, gain 1 to 3 blessing based on the current path that we are at. This is super OP. You can get up to 3 blessings for the Nihility path. Coin of Discord, this is also very broken to upgrade our blessings. However, this right here, I want to talk a little bit about the Laurel Crown of Planar Shift. This is super OP. If you're at like the first or second boss, you basically can wipe and it will count as a victory, meaning that you don't have to kill the boss. You could just go in and die and you will get the rewards after and then move on to the final phase. So basically, this is a free win versus, Cocolia, which is very nice, but not totally necessary. You will want to essentially save your fragments towards the end so that you can enhance the blessings. That will give you the best power in terms of just being able to survive and clear the content. Priority is similar to the tier list. You want to enhance the defensive ones first in order to make sure that you'll survive, and then afterwards the Nihility ones. If you do upgrade any Nihility blessing, make sure to upgrade the one with Suspicion. That will allow you to have a permanent stack. So yeah, that's going to be really helpful. And then whatever else you can. As for the transactions, take a look at the shop, especially the Scroolum shop. See if there's any blessings that you want to buy. Buy it if there's something that you are going to need, for example, that is in the high tier of the priority list. Otherwise, go to the Herda one, see if there's any good Curios. Along the way, you will be able to grab other characters through adventure nodes or from clearing the phase and going on to the next one. We want to make sure we grab our defensive characters and our break characters along the way for the final boss. For example, you want to grab a break character, then grab someone like Fu Xuan, QQ, Welt, Yukong, or anyone else that has the weakness applied to the boss. For example, if the boss has lightning weakness, I'll be grabbing Kafka. And then the other team that you can run is, if the final boss is weak to ice, you can run a sustain team with ice characters like March 7th, Pella, Japard, and Natasha, and you'll be immortal. Once you grab the character, what you want to do is, before you fight the final boss, you will want to put tank gear on them, meaning that you will want to take your QQ and put tank gear on her. For example, HP percent body, defense percent orb, ER rope, anything you can that will boost her defense. The damage won't matter because, like I mentioned, the character aren't doing the damage. The resonance path is just try to build as tanky as you can. If you are having survivability issue, you could just close the client, like I mentioned earlier, open it up again, and your characters will be in front of the boss, put the defensive gear on them, and then try the boss again. So with that being said, that's mostly the whole strategy. If I'm missing anything, I will pin it in the comment down below to make sure that I didn't forget something. Here's an example run using an F2P team. So I just cleared difficulty 5 on my main account, and I'm gonna see with the strategy as well if it's viable for a free-to-play player. And as you guys can see here, my tree is not very fleshed out. It's barely played. That's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna try it out.
施しようがないわね。己を解き放つ反抗平等霊落。
私が誰こんな大きなダイヤモンドあげるね。私がこんな大きなダイヤモンドあげるね。ペロリン感謝してね。ふっはっ何見てるの。ふっそれじゃあダメだよ。ふっはっ私が誰こんな大きなダイヤモンドあげるね。
Let's see if I can auto battle. Let's go. Let's turn on auto battle. Look at that. It did no damage. No damage at all. We see the disruption level is level 7. It's totally fine. You can go up to even 9, right? receives 15% less damage when player characters are hit. Characters, I guess we can go over their builds. It's very simple, very minimalistic. Fu Xuan, your basic Fu Xuan, just not that much. March 7th, just grab as much speed ER as you can, and then honestly you should go defensive build. I didn't replace it. I think I just had whatever I can on her. This was just an experimental set, but you should be going like, you know, 2-piece withering, 2-piece snow. That's why she died. She's not even that tanky, right? 2.3k HP, 1000 defense. Yeah, let's not talk about my Marth. Natasha, good for just backup healing, just in case. Yeah, you see my Natasha and my March, they're not very geared, but you still should be able to do it. Like, what the heck are these relics? And Fire MC, which Fire MC, always a good character. 3000 defense, 3000 HP. Very solid character. Highly recommend building MC up, because MC, they're gonna be like a Harmony path, a Nihility path, right? You really want to level them up for future content.